welcome to the Granny Square series. This week we'll be looking at this lovely little square. I'm calling it the Wildflower Granny Square because it's a square version of the Wildflower Bunting that I made a couple of years ago. And originally I was thinking of using this square for the Wildflower blanket. In the end I went with this square. I just thought it suited this blanket better. But it is still a really nice square, so I thought we'd add it to our Granny Square series blankets. For the demo, I'm going to be using a 4mm hook, and I'm going to be using this yarn, the Stonewash from the Stonewash range, the Moonstone colour. So let's get started. To start, we're going to make a double magic circle and chain one. So for round one, we're going to make 12 US doubles, that's UK trebles. So you can make your first stitch however you like to do your starting stitches. I'm going to make a US single and chain one. That's a UK double and chain one if you're using UK terms. And then we're going to make 11 more stitches. So we're going to make 11 US doubles, UK trebles. So we'll have 12 stitches into that magic circle to start. If you're making along, you can press pause, and I'll see you at the end of the round. When you've made your 12 stitches, just count to check that you've got 12 stitches, including the starting stitch, and then we'll tighten up the circle. And we'll slip stitch to join. And you want to close your circle completely, yeah? So that's how your work should look at the end of round one. Round two, we're going to start with chain two. For this round, we're going to make 12 two-stitch clusters with a chain one space between each cluster. So we're going to start in that first stitch. To make our clusters, we yarn over, go into the stitch, pull the yarn through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We're going to yarn over, go back into the stitch, pull the yarn through, there should be 4 loops on the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 3 loops on the stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Then I'm going to chain one and hop across to the next stitch. So we're going to do the same thing and make that little 2-stitch cluster and chain one. So we're going to go all the way around like so. If you're making along with me, you can press pause, and I'll see you at the end of the round. At the end of round two, you'll finish with a chain one, and we're then going to slip stitch into the first cluster, and then slip stitch into the chain one space, chain one. And that's how your work should look at the end of round two. For round three, we're going to make 3 US singles, UK doubles into each chain one space. We're just going to start into that first space. We're just going to start with 1. We're just going to go straight in and make a US single, UK double. And we want our tension to be quite small. We don't want our stitches to be too big here. So we're going to skip across that cluster and go into the next chain one space, and we're going to make 3 little stitches, US single, UK doubles, and you'll notice I'm giving them a little tug just to keep them small. Hop across the cluster and make your next 3 into your next chain 1 space, and we are going to go all the way around your circle, making 3 little stitches into each space. So if you're making along, you can press pause, and I'll see you at the end of the round. So when we get back to the beginning, we'll make 3 stitches in there, and then we're back to where we started, and we just made 1 stitch, if you remember. So it's quite bulky in there because we've got that slip stitch. We're just going to go in there and make 1 stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch across to the first stitch we made, and that bulk and the slip stitch is just going to count as the 3rd stitch, yeah? And then we want to slip stitch across to the space between the 2 stitches, or into that first stitch of the next one, however you want to do it. But we want to be above the cluster, yeah? So we want to be straight above that cluster. Just slip stitch in there, and that's how your work should look at the end of round 3. Round 4 is a slip stitch and chain round. So we've slip stitched and we're above the cluster from round 2, and we're going to then chain 3. We're going to skip the stitches in between the clusters, and we're going to slip stitch above the next cluster. Chain 3 and slip stitch above the next cluster. And we're just going to work our way around, chain 3, slip stitch, yeah? And if you're making along, you can press pause if you want, and I'll see you at the end of the round. At the end of the round, you'll finish with the chain 3, and we're going to slip stitch into the space where we made the first slip stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch into the chain 3 space. Yep, chain 1. And that's how your work should look at the end of round 4. So round 5 is the last round. We're going to make this into a square. So we're going to start off with, we've already chained 1 into the chain 3 space, yeah, we've slip stitched and chained into there. We're now going to make a US single, UK double into there, and then we're going to make 2 half stitches. So that's a half US double or a half UK treble, yeah, I'll call them the half stitches. And then we hop across to the next chain 3 space. This is going to be our corner. We're going to make 2 US doubles, UK trebles. We're then going to make 1 US treble, UK double treble. We're then going to chain 2. And in that same space, to finish the corner off, we're going to make a US treble, UK double treble. And then we're going to make 2 US doubles, UK trebles. That's our corner made. We're then going to hop into the next chain 3 space, and we're going to make 2 half stitches. And then 1 US single or a UK double. And that's our repeat. Yeah, so we now start back at the beginning. So if you're making along, you can press pause if you've got that in your head, or you can just hop back to the beginning of the chapter and it'll be exactly the same into here. Yeah, so we're going to do that same thing 3 more times, and I shall see you at the end of the round. At the end of the round, you should have finished with a US single, UK double, and we're just going to slip stitch across to join, and there we have it. There's the end. That's the last round. The square at the beginning had the edging on it. That's why it's slightly bigger. They've got the edging already around them, which you'll find in the How to Join Granny Squares episode. So I hope you like this square, and I'll see you in the next episode.